OpenJS World. I'm Ujjwal. I work at Igalia. I'm one of the three co-chairpersons of TC39. And today in this lightning talk, we're going to discuss what's new in ECMAScript. Uh, First, a little bit about TC39. TC39 is the 39 Technical Committee of the European Computers Manufacturers Association, or ECMA for short. We maintain the amazing ECMAScript spec and have produced some amazing gems so far that you might know of. The committee is composed of browser engineers, developers, academics, and notable figures from across the community. Uh, and everything we do happens in four stages. So it starts with stage one, where everything is basically just an idea, a problem statement that we're trying to solve, to stage two, where we start drafting up solution, or in many cases multiple solutions, to stage three, where we start figuring out the specifics and start implementing things in browsers, to stage four, where we are satisfied and we greenlight things to be added to the next edition of the programming language. Uh, we recently finalized ECMAScript 2022, so it's gonna be released in the next couple of weeks. But here's a few notable features from this edition. No need to go through the entire list right away. We'll go through them one by one. Talking of class fields, the new class fields proposals allows you to declaratively initialize fields in classes if you, and this also allows you to have private fields in classes if you have written object-oriented programming languages in the past. Then I think this would be very familiar and useful to you. It allows you to encapsulate logic that belongs to a class within the class body. Next up, we have static blocks. In class static blocks, you can declare a block in the body of the class, which allows you to write code which would be run at the class setup time and set up the static fields as well as access the private fields in order to do that. We have also added support for ergonomic brand checks. This allows you to test if a certain private field exists on a certain class. This is extremely useful if you want to check if a given object is a instance of a given class. So technically now, if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it may or may not be a duck because it might not have the duck brand check. Then we have regexp match indices. This allows you to find out the offsets of any match that happened on a regexp string. So if you, like myself, find yourself trying to find out the positions of the starting and ending points of each match in a regexp head, you'd find this extremely useful. We also added support for one of the most awaited, sorry about that, features of JavaScript called top level await. This allows you to deal with all modules as essentially one big async function, which means that you can use await outside of a function and wait on promises during initialization of a module, and do some very interesting things like the ones you can see in the example here. We also allowed support for relatively indexing arrays. If you've written some Python, this might be familiar to you. This makes the process of accessing items in an array or a string really ergonomic, and you can use negative indices with this method to access items from close to the end. We also added support for object.hasOwn. This is a fairly straightforward method that makes object.prototype.hasOwn property very ergonomic to use, and we hope that you find it easier to write JavaScript after this one. Then we also added support for error cause. This allows you to wrap errors inside of errors, essentially creating a long chain of errors. This would be helpful at debugging because you can find out not only which exact straw broke the camel's back, essentially, but also the long line of errors which were caused in the process. Uh, if you're excited about any of this, or about the rest of the work that we're doing right now, we'd love for you to get involved. It's always great to have more interesting voices in the committee. You can get involved by starting out at our website. Everything we do is on GitHub. This includes the ongoing proposals, the feature requests, and so on. The agendas for upcoming meetings, as well as notes from the previous meetings, are also on GitHub. You can help us out by helping us write tests. You can review proposal repos, or if you are more interested in more theoretical discussion, you can join the discussion on Discourse, which is our mailing list forum hybrid. You can also consider joining ECMA more formally and become a co-delegate with us. Thank you.